Right, here we are again. I've now continued casting on in the method I showed you, and I've got approximately 20 stitches on here, but as this is just for example's sake, it doesn't really matter how many stitches I've got. It's just so that I can show you how to do an English rib, which is knit one, purl one. So we start with the first stitch and put our needle through the loop of the first stitch, so it's not behind the two like we did when we cast on, but we're just going through the first loop, putting the yarn around the needle, pulling through the stitch, and then we drop that loop off. So we've transferred one stitch from the left to the right hand needle, and that's a knit stitch. So now we're going to purl, so we bring the yarn between the two needles, and this time you bring the pin towards you through the loop. The yarn goes around the needle, you pull the needle through so that you've got a new loop now on the right hand needle, and you drop this loop from the left, and that's a purl stitch. So a rib is knit one, purl one all the way along the end. So having done a purl stitch, I'm now going to do another knit. So the yarn goes between the two needles, right needle goes through the left loop, yarn round, pull through and off. So now a purl stitch, so we bring the yarn forward between the two needles, bring the right needle towards you through the loop, yarn round the needle, needle gets pushed back through and then off, and again yarn back between the needles for the knit stitch, needle through the loop, yarn round, pull through and off. So we continue to do this to the end of the row. So purl, I'm doing it slowly so you can watch, knit, purl, and you get into a rhythm when you're doing it for a longer period of time. So when you're doing a purl stitch, the yarn always comes between the pins towards you. Knit stitch, the yarn is away from you. So purl, bring it towards you, up through the loop, round the needle and down through. Knit stitch, yarn to the back, through the loop, round the needle, pull the thread through and off. Purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and the last stitch is a purl. There, that's the whole row. So we've now completed one row of rib, knit one, purl one. And you can see that the purl stitches, when you have a look at the stitches on the needle, are actually little knobbles, and the plain stitches are flat. So to continue the second row, we turn round and we finished with a knit stitch. No, sorry, we finished with a purl stitch, and in order for them to all go in line, we start with a knit, and then a purl, so that the knobble that you've got there is continued up the knitting. Alright, so that's a plain stitch, a knit stitch, a purl, and a knit and a purl, and I'll do one more knit stitch and show you what it's looking like. There. So can you begin to see the pattern? So these flat stitches here are the knit stitches, and the bobbles in between are the purl stitches. Okay.